Hi, welcome to Let's Talk About Inside Business. My name is Nelson Pena from IMC International, partnering with Bukowski Bank, Swiss Financial TV in Geneva. For this program, I have invited Mrs. Ruxandra Oșendril, who is the Country Associate Director in IMC Romania, and Mr. Alin Drumia, who is the Principal Associate Director for IMC Romania. We would like to discuss a very interesting topic based on what Romania is representing today. Hi Ruxandra, how are you doing?
Hi Nelson, I'm fine. I'm glad to be here.
Me too, to have you here. Ruxandra, I have a good news for you.
Please, share it with us.
According to a survey of top 100 executives in Romania, 40% of them, they are confident that the business growth in 2014 will have a significant high percentage compared to the previous year. What happens?
Well, indeed, the economic climate improved last year, and there is an increased confidence in the market about possibilities and about growth and so on. It's also related to the growth at the level of the European Union, but in particular, Romania showed an impressive growth in GDP last year. It was 3.5, which is, I think, one of the highest in the region. So, yes, we are confident that things are on the right path right now.
Alin, do you have a similar position as Ruxandra, whoever responsible for the consultancy and professional service in your country? Is this survey just a kind of pure marketing echo, kissing, or for self-motivation, or what is the reality out there?
First of all, hello, thank you for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be here. I can say that as a CEO, I have managed small and large groups also in the last 10 years in Romania. And being optimistic and forecasting development objectives is one of the most important attitudes of a successful CEO. On the other side, I can add to your question that last year, business leaders in the percentage of 76% was saying that if the market will decline, they will stay in the market. In 2014, the percentage goes to 56. So what is the reality if we try to understand why we have this reaction from side business leaders in Romania? As the real figures, the economy slowly increased since 2009 every year. But in 2013, as estimate figures, the GDP grew 3.5%. Comparing with 2012, with a very strong 5.2% in the fourth quarter. This came from the agriculture in a percentage of 20 and 7% from the industry sector. Other sectors like construction, services had small increases too. From side imports, an important increase of 6% and a 10% increase from side exports. So if we see these positive figures to 2013, yes, I'm confident that 2014 probability for good businesses to grow, it's very high.
Besides your role as a country associate director for IMC Romania, you're also responsible for the merchant acquisition sector in our country. How do you see the merchant acquisition market 2014 compared to 2013? Where does the trends go?
Well, I will start with a little bit of history because this has to be mentioned. Back in 2007, 2008, when it was a peak of the M&A activity in the region, Romania was actually surpassing Poland and Ukraine, being one of the top CE countries by the value of the M&A deals at the time. Unfortunately, since the beginning of the financial crisis, we have seen a negative trend in the M&A activity. And during 2013, a new market decline has been registered down to 1.8% 18 billion euro, which was the lowest value registered since the beginning of the financial crisis. To give you a little bit of comparison, in 2012 we had 1.5 billion euro. So we have seen a little bit of decrease here. The main trend that contributed to this decline of the market were related to the decreasing investment appetite of both strategic and financial investors that were surveilling our country in the past. What has to be also mentioned, and it's also true, that the quality of the potential targets have deteriorated during the financial crisis, but this, however, is a general trend we have noticed throughout the region. Still, for 2014, I'm positive about what can happen. First, Romania could actually benefit from the decreasing number of good opportunities throughout the region, but also of the political situation that we are facing right now in Turkey and in Ukraine. These used to be countries that were attracting a large amount of investment in the past, but due to the current situation, probably this investment will have to go somewhere else in the region. So while the number of the new strategic investors will remain low, in my opinion, during this year, and we will not see a significant number of transactions in Romania involving strategic investors, I would rather expect to see private equity deals. And I can mention that already 2 deals have been announced since the beginning of the year, closed by private equity funds. In my opinion, for this year, the main target will remain medium company rather than very large one, young IT companies, and we might also see in the near future secondary buyout between private equity funds. So overall, I would expect the market to increase this year as compared to the last year, both in terms of number of transactions and in overall value.
Alin, you have been a CEO and general manager for larger groups in Romania, and also today as a principal social director you are supporting the CEOs in doing business. What are the major concerns of these CEOs and general manager in doing business in Romania today? What are the top 5 concerns, for instance?
Here we can say about attracting the foreign investments. And what is not attractive right now, it is, let's say, the infrastructure, which is moving very slowly in Romania. From side fiscal system, the high bureaucracy, a lack of entrepreneurial education is also one of the minus, that it is one of the factor which is influences, and access to financing. This, I think, that are, let's say, the main concerns that are existing right now in the business environment.
Do you see more domestic actors investing now their money in Romania, or outside investors, so investors from, I don't know, from Italy, from Spain, from Germany, from the UK? What is the trend?
Well, domestic actors are not extremely active, unfortunately. I would really love to see more Romanian companies expanding by M&A, both internally and externally, but this is still not the case. What we are seeing, it's private investors, so individuals who have a large amount of money and they come and invest in various companies.
Ruxandra, after the revolution you had an end to the great financial crisis some years ago, and I just can give you my own experience being in Switzerland but working also for Italian, Spanish, German companies. I considered that Romania has been a kind of favorite investment spot in Eastern Europe. And on the other side, the reality, Ruxandra, a lot of people of Romania have left the country, and you are somehow in a very hard crisis since then. Is the image of investing in your country worse than the reality? You know, today, if I'm talking to an investor, please take your 10 million or 100 million and go to Romania. They say, well, it's about corruption, it's about insecurity, it's about untransparency. Is it that bad, or it's just the image of the country?
Well, I think it's more an image of the country. It's not the reality we are having here. And it's a big difference between what you can see from abroad, just looking at TV or just reading some newspapers, and what you will face actually on the ground. I don't think Romania is more corrupt than the countries the other countries in the region, the neighboring countries. We, in general, are working at the governmental level for an increased transparency and for stability at the political level and economic level. So Romania should be on the map again, I think, very soon. It's true that the value of the investments have decreased, but I will not put it necessarily on the situation of the country. It's also related to the fact that strategic investors have their own problems in their home countries, and they are dealing with them. It's also true that private equity funds are no longer having funds to invest, and they are in fundraising, most of them, but this has nothing to do with what is really happening in Romania.
Is this just a cliche, it's like the image, or this reflects the reality out there? What is your impression?
To have a clear picture of the situation, I will take 2008 as a reference year. After the revolution, year by year, we had permanent increase of foreign investments, reaching in 2008 the level of 9.5 billion euro. Due to the crisis, dropped down to 1.8 billion euro in 2011, but this is a normal reaction of a business people for that period, and it's not a particular case about Romania. What is happening today is an increase of 50% in 2013 comparing with 2011 on the level of 2.7 billion, and with 27% compared with 2012. So now we see from 2011 that things are going up, and the economy recovery started really after 2011. If we are talking about foreign investments, I can give you some examples that was happening in the business environment in Romania in the last 5 years. One of the main reasons of economy increase in 2013 was the level of the export, which reached a record of 50 billion euro. 10%, as I said before, 10% more than 2012. More than 25 billion euro came from the automotive industry as a result of a large investment in the last 5 years. Large groups like Continental, Hella, Delphi, TRW Automotive make big investment in the last 5 years in production of cars components. As an example, also Gleimer Group announced for this year an investment of 300 million euro in Romania for production of the most advanced gearboxes for A-Class and E-Class and S-Class. We have in this moment more than 500 companies in production of car components, with more than 90% foreign investments. If we take the real estate market as an example, Rockefeller started investments in Bucharest in 2010, and this year they have big plans for development. Also, from other side, last year there were a lot of meetings with business people from China and Kazakhstan. and they show the intention to invest in Romania. So Western Europe, America, Asia consider Romania an attractive country due to the culture. It's close to the European culture, people education, and also the geographical location. What is slowing down and influence business people to postpone to invest in Romania is still the infrastructure, the level of corruption, which is still high, even in the last year was decreased, and the actual fiscal system, which is showing a lot of bureaucracy. Definitely, I believe that European Union pressure, the actual political situation, and results in economy in the last 3 years create an image of attractive country in the next 5 years.
What are the most important competitive advantages of Romania compared to other similar countries in Eastern Europe?
Well, in my opinion, the main competitive advantages are the fact that, first of all, Romania is a member of the European Union. And this would bring advantages as compared to Turkey or to Ukraine. Ukraine has also a different problem right now. Also, it's an industrialized country, and we have a long experience and tradition in most of the industries. We have qualified labor force, which is anyway much cheaper than in the neighboring countries in CE, and of course much cheaper than Western Europe labor force. And last but not least, it's a very large market. It's the second largest consumer zone in Eastern Europe, with approximately 20 million inhabitants. Yeah, so there is a lot of room to grow here.
Ruxandra, Romania is today a European Union member without using the euro as the main currency. How do you perceive this element in your everyday business as a businesswoman or the companies you are dealing with? Is this a harm? Is this, I would say, a question to deal with? What is your experience? What is your observations?
Well, I think that at the level of the business community, this is not necessarily a problem. And there are a lot of efforts for increased transparency and for alignment with the European Union standards at the level of the large businesses. What I would like to mention apart from this is that the Romanian economy is well integrated to the European Union economy through trade and foreign direct investment linkages. And Romania is, as you know, on its way for adopting euro, and this most likely will happen in 2018. This also means that Romania is under permanent monitoring from European Central Bank at the level of implementation of economic measure, political stability, political conversion, meaning that European Union standards have to be translated into local business standards, yes? And at the level of the government and of the National Bank, there is a commission that is dealing only with this adoption of euro and the measures that have to be implemented, because there is a real will for adopting euro in the next future and for fulfillment of all these criteria that has to be met.
Very good. Ruxandra, Alin, I would like to thank you sincerely for having been in studio. Thanks a lot. This was Inside Business about doing business in Romania. Thanks for watching IMC International, partnering with Yucaskopi TV in Geneva. Bye for now.